Hello and welcome to this edition of 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili and thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Mr. Leggett, how are you?
Very well. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Well, this is our monthly sit-down interview. A whole lot has happened in the county in the last 30 days, but let's try to highlight some of the main things. The governor, Larry Hogan, visited our county recently and basically to sign into law two pieces of legislation, the Prime Act and the Metro Transit Funding Act.
Right.
What do these two actually mean for Montgomery County, not only today, but in the future?
Well, first of all, let me thank the governor for his leadership in moving two crucial pieces of legislation forward, helping to move forward. Also to a number of people in our own delegation, State Senator Nancy King, Mark Coleman, and Brian Feldman, Ann Kaiser, and the entire Montgomery County team. All of them, with the exception of one person, voted for the Prime Act, that is to provide resources in order to make certain that we are competitive for the Amazon selection process. That was important because without the state support, there's no way for us to be in a competitive position. And we rely upon that, and we believe that it gives us a very good, very strong position in order to be competitive here. Commensurate with that is the funding for Metro, because there's no way for the county to resolve many of the transportation challenges unless Metro in and of itself has resolved the challenges that it faced in terms of safety, reliability. And so those two pieces go hand in glove in terms of not only the short-term potential for acquisition, at least not an acquisition, but selection by Amazon, but more importantly, it is important for the long-term stability of our region. Keep in mind that the lifeline for Montgomery County is the red line, and it carries more ridership. It really covers everything from Glenmont all the way to Gaithersburg at Shady Grove, and everything in between. And so without that reliability, without that safety factor that we have or should have, it hurts Montgomery County. If you hurt Montgomery County, you're going to hurt the state of Maryland, because in my opinion and the opinion of many, Montgomery County is the economic engine for the state of Maryland. I think the governor recognizes that and recognizes that we need to solve the challenges of Metro overall. And I think that he recognized that we need to have a secure, reliable Metro system in order for us to even be in the competition for Amazon. So having that legislation, having our entire delegation behind us, the presiding officers, the governor, and to cap that off at Strathmore, which is also another investment that the state and the county made together. I made a comment at the press conference that if you look at the investments that the state have helped make in Montgomery County, they've been very, very productive, and we produce excellent results for the state as well as Montgomery County. So when you invest in Montgomery County, you're literally invested in the state and the economic well-being of the entire state.
That's a great sales pitch. Now, you too rode Metro. You and the governor, you rode the red line. How was that ride for you guys, Metro?
It was pretty well. You know, what they did, it's just section off a car, the first car, and we had quite a large contingent of people there.
So you had media. The VIP car.
Well, it was the same Metro car, but just a separate location.
No special accommodations, right?
No. And we had a large number of people in the car with us, along with the press and security. And as a result of that, it would have been difficult to get everybody in a car with other riders. But it was a nice ride. We left from Bethesda and went to Strathmore from there.
So it was a feel for what the red line actually is. What is the final bulk of the contribution from Maryland for Metro finally?
From Maryland?
Yeah,
well, that varies, depends on a number of factors, but they could range anywhere from like $4.5 million to about $6 billion, I'm sorry.
B, with a B.
With a B.
Legislative session pretty much just concluded in Annapolis. Are you, aside from these two pieces of legislation, which were obviously huge, satisfied with the outcome? Any needs and wants that perhaps were not addressed, especially when it comes to education, school construction, and all of that?
I think that we did well. I think our delegation did a very good job overall. There are some challenges that we still face because we have this growing school population and clearly we would have wanted and hoped to have gotten a little bit more for school construction. But we did pretty well. I think it was one of the largest amount, second only to I think Baltimore City in terms of school construction dollars. We are growing at a rapid rate in Montgomery County, about 2,400 students per year. The system now has 162,000 students, and that growth is projected for the next 2 or 3 years at least about 2,500 students a year. So we need a couple of things. We need more space in terms of the number of students that we have in the system overall, and we need to continue to modernize and refresh many of the spaces that we already have. And so we're doing two things at once. We're renovating existing space as well as expanding and finding new space. If you look at our record over the years, given the amounts that we provided for capital construction, over the last 11 and a half years, we provided, I think, about 21,000 classroom seats. That's a huge number. And we continue to have some challenges going forward, but I believe that the amounts that we got this year would keep us right about the pace that we were last year, but at some point we need to increase that in order to accommodate the number of students that are expected to continue in our system.
That's it will continue to increase
Yes.
on a yearly basis, so that
Yeah.
it's ongoing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your proposed operating FY19 budget for the county, and of course, County Council is soon to approve it. Have you had any recent conversations back and forth with county council members and or any feedback from them?
Well, I'm looking at some of the actions that they've taken, and we generally respect the same level of priorities between myself and the council. There's no major difference therein. The only difference that we may see may be on the margin, but the margins could in fact change. When I submit a budget, I generally say, well, okay, this is now in your hands. You have the flexibility to augment this or change in certain aspects, but try to stay within the parameters of what we have there, because the parameters are designed in a way to meet not only the short-term needs of the county, but the long-term sustainability of the county, to ensure that we are maintaining the factors that we achieve in terms of the AAA bond rating, making certain that the budgets are sustainable for many years to come, because there's so much uncertainty out there, and uncertainty certainly with the level of tax revenue that has gone up and down the last couple of years.
Mr. Leggett, we have to take a really short break, and we will be right back. Please stay tuned.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
If you think someone might be considering suicide or drugs, be the one to help them by taking these 5 steps. Ask, keep them safe, be there, help them connect, follow up. If you're struggling, call Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK or the 24-hour crisis center at 240-777-4000. Be the one to help. Learn more at betheone.org.
May is Building Safety Month. Hi, I'm Steve Thomas with Montgomery County's Department of Permitting Services. It's important to make sure all buildings are safe. That's why Permitting Services will come out and inspect your deck for free during the month of May. Don't let this happen to you. Keep your family safe. Call 311 today to schedule your free deck maintenance inspection.
Welcome back to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili. Mr. Leggett, before we went to the break, we're talking about the FY19 operating budget. Something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, a couple of challenges that we have that I think need to be noted. As I said before, staying within the general parameters and making different decisions, I think, is always appropriate for the council. But nonetheless, when we look at potentially changes to our reserves, I think would be a mistake. if we look at any major changes to our OPEC funding and how we've organized that in the budget would be a mistake. And clearly I rule out increase in taxes, which I think they already agree with. But they have a long list of potential needs. Citizens have come forward to say fund this, fund that. But at certain points you have to step back and not be able to explain why we're not able to do some of those things. Otherwise, long-term sustainability would be a real challenge for us. So OPEC challenges, reserve challenges to me, kinds of areas where we should tread very lightly for.
Yeah. Council President Hans Rimmer announced that the council might be considering an appropriation bill to add $373,000 to a legal defense fund for county residents who faced deportation. First, you're taking that, and second, the opinion of the county attorney on this proposal when it relates to individuals who committed minor crimes.
Well, I think there's no real difficulty with the minor crimes. With those who are major crimes, I think there may be some challenges we have with that in trying to make certain that we are providing appropriate legal support. In my budget, we'd already increased that amount, and I think Council President Reamer has suggested we should increase that even more. That's not something which I would disagree with. I just think that we need to be very careful about who is covered in the ambit of people that we're trying to provide some legal protection for and support. So the question right now would be who would that encompass, and trying to make certain that the language is at least sufficient enough to encompass the people that we want, but not so overly broad that any and everybody could seek to have legal representation when that's not the intent. So we have to be careful about unintended consequences here.
Let's talk about transportation. Pedestrian safety continues to be a big problem in the county. The county has a Vision Zero goal, but recently you did announce a Stay Alert, Stay Alive campaign geared to pedestrians and drivers. Do we still continue to have this huge problem in the county where we need to continue telling people do not look at your phone when you're driving or walking?
Yes, and the reason for that is that this is an ongoing campaign. You have to continue to update that because large numbers of people move into the area. We have a very transit-oriented area in terms of people moving in and out, and we have some cultural differences. People come from different communities around the world for which there may be different reactions in terms of traffic. I've traveled to some places where people literally walk in the street and see no problem with that, walking in between all types of traffic, and they come to Montgomery County and they assume that you can do that here as well. And so those cultural differences need to be respected, but we need to make certain that people understand what the rules and regulations are here as it relates to traffic, because there could be some very deadly consequences if you don't. So we have to continue to update, continue to inform people, to educate them. The challenges with engineering, you have to look at these new devices and they're excited, we get attached to them, and as a result of that, there's a tendency to look down, and there's a tendency to listen, to not understand that you're in the midst of traffic. I look at some of the young people today, and they are able to multitask with a variety of things. They're talking, they're walking, they're texting, and they're walking in and out of traffic without any real concerns. We have to adjust that. So it's directed at the people who are walking, pedestrians, as well as the people who are driving. And so there are some laws that are designed to protect us from that. But the best law, the best approach, in my opinion, would be to inform people, educate them in a way that they would avoid those kinds of activities.
And while we're dealing with all of that, we're also opening more bike share stations in the county, and that brings to the formula the cyclists as well.
Right, I've even seen people on bicycles texting, believe it or not.
I have seen them, yes.
Yeah, texting on bicycles, and so that's it. But we are providing more bicycles, and we're providing additional routes that we've outlined in this zero tolerance challenge that we have in terms of our ability to address these concerns. But that's designed to help us to alleviate many of the cars that are on the road. And one of the challenges that we've had is that when you have a bicycle, they've been somewhat in a dock, and you go point A to point B, but there are places in between, or places outside of point A and B that you want to go to. So providing the dockless bikes helps to, in effect, close that gap. But we're working on that now. We have a pilot project in place. So we have a combination of things, the dock bikes and the dockless bikes, and hopefully in the foreseeable future we'll work all of this out so that we will have the available transportation and the type that people actually want.
Now, two things just as a follow-up to that. With 82 stations throughout the county, have we seen an increase of bicyclists, of people actually utilizing them? And I'm sure that's a numbers game when it comes to those rentals. And also regarding the pilot program of the dockless bicycles, have there been complaints from residents because these are just about everywhere and sometimes people don't like them in front of their homes?
Yeah. Well, we've had some complaints, and mostly in the Silver Spring area, because the contract that we have would allow you to take the bike into the District of Columbia, into Silver Spring and areas in between. And we have a number of contractors, and I think the first month or so, there was an overabundance of too many bikes in a variety of areas throughout the county. And so what we've tried to do is reduce the number of bikes that are out on the road, and also to make certain that people dock the bikes at a place where it is much more convenient. But there are complaints of bikes being docked at all kinds of locations, and so the contractors are now removing the bikes in places where they see that they should not be, and making certain that people are at least pedaling in the areas that we want them to be.
Okay. Let's talk about the Wheaton redevelopment.
Sure.
An update. Construction on time and on budget, correct?
Yes.
One of the big things about the redevelopment of Wheaton has been the small business community. Mm-hmm. Some of the small businesses have already gotten financial assistance from the county. About 90 businesses have been identified that they would get up to $75,000 in assistance in a 3-year period. The Office of Finance of the county has already dispersed some funding to some of the businesses. Some of them have gotten a big bulk on this first year. The 3-year goal, $75,000, is that something that could change?
It can, depends on how much we allocate, and that's a problem in terms of making certain people are aware of the program, and making certain that people can provide the evidence of business impact. And so you have to go through a process. We're simply not writing checks out to people without going through this very challenging process to demonstrate the necessity for the money and what impacts have been caused as a result of the construction thereby. But when you are going through this type of major construction, there is the prospect that you would have some disruption, and that disruption can in fact impact certain businesses. But you have to demonstrate what level of business you had before, and what is the downturn now as it relates to the construction in the Wheaton area.
We're going to take another short break, Mr. Leggett, but we'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett.
Hey, mister, down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout, and this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe, so respect the bus.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Election day is fast approaching. Is your registration current and accurate? Don't wait, register online. It only takes minutes. Visit 777vote.org to check your registration. The deadline is June 5 at 9 p.m. You must be registered with either the Democratic or Republican Party to vote in the political party's primary election. Make sure your registration is up to date. Vote-by-mail ballots are also available. Visit the website to submit an application. Remember, your time, your voice, your vote.
Welcome back to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili. Mr. Leggett, let's talk about Prescription Drug Take Back Day. It takes place almost every year, But this year in particular, the police department has been doing emphasis on clean your medicine cabinet, let's prevent opioid abuse and overdoses in the county. Do we continue to have a problem? Is that on the rise, or is this leveling off in the county as far as response from public, from the fire and rescue department and police when it comes to overdoses?
Yes, we have some challenges, but it's not necessarily opioids to which we are trying to get people to bring drugs back or provide safe locations for them to drop drugs off. It's any drug which there's a prescription and sitting around in areas that may be accessible to young people or may be abused in some fashion, because you can have an overdose of just taking aspirin if you take too many of them. But the challenge here is that when you have drugs that you know or you believe that have expired, people tend to just leave them in their medicine cabinets or sit them out in places where they should not be. Or more important, more challenges, just flush them down the drain. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that you can deliver those drugs to a safe location, and we will take them back. And if we do that, then we can reduce the incidence of which people, unintended consequences of people taking those drugs or others finding those drugs and utilizing them in an inappropriate manner. So that's the effort that we're going through. And given the challenge we have with opioids, there are more opioids that are out there. And so there's a likelihood that you're going to find more opioids in the overall prescription medicine cabinet which most people have.
The Department of Health and Human Services is offering 2-hour trainings on the use of Narcan to county residents that are interested in learning. Also, can you give us an update on the lawsuit that the county filed against 14 pharmaceutical companies?
Well, we filed the lawsuit,
Yeah.
and the firm that we selected to file the lawsuit is now part of the overall nationwide group of attorneys and law firms meeting, I think it's in Cincinnati, in Ohio, in order to find a resolution to this. Hopefully we can, because if you go through the extended process of the lawsuit, it may take many, many years. But if you're able to come to a resolution prior to that, then we can get some positive reaction in a way that I think may be hopeful. But there are about 8 law firms nationally that are involved in this lawsuit and representing a variety of communities. Montgomery County's selection of one of the firms to represent us is one of the 8 firms that will be part of the nationwide settlement, hopefully a settlement.
Let's talk about now a couple of items that pertain to the Office of Community Partnerships. First, the Montgomery Serves Awards, once again, 7th annual celebration recognizing 9 individuals and groups from our community that have excelled in precisely in volunteer work in our community. And also, you're announcing the launch of the Interfaith Network of Montgomery County. Let's talk about those two.
Well, first of all, let me congratulate and thank the Office of Community Partnership. They do a fabulous job year-round. Bruce Adams has done a remarkable job. Casey Caseman and the entire team that he has, they really are out there each and every day making certain that our community is a cohesive community, it's an inclusive community, a community that I think we try to respect and with dignity and respect for every person in the county. So those are just 2 of the most recent initiatives. One is the Community Service Award, which we award citations and medals to people who've done a variety of things to help the county by their service to our fellow members of the county, as well as the Interfaith Network that brings together people of different faiths to help us with many of the challenges that we see within the community. The faith community has a very, very unique perspective and a connection with residents that government and some other entities may not have. And so when we see challenges within the community, it is better, I think, and more appropriate for the community organizations that deal with these challenges day in and day out to be involved in it. So having them as a network, working together with the county, sort of urging that network, I think helps everyone, because we're able to deal with problems within the community and they do not become county, state, or problems that emerge to the top of the heap in terms of how we deal with people overall. So this Interfaith Network can help us, and I'm looking for great results based on the enthusiasm, the number of people who are engaged in this. We had a tremendous turnout recently to launch the Interfaith Network.
Indeed. Another item that I almost forgot that falls under the community partnerships was the grand opening, official grand opening of the headquarters for the Gilchrist Immigrant Resource Center in Wheaton, headquarters in Wheaton, steps away from Metro. You were there. Also, another interesting ribbon cutting.
Yeah. Well, the people assume that when you have such a large number of people, that 40% of our residents in Montgomery County are foreign born. And for us to fully bring people together to get through the very difficult challenges sometimes of integrating within our community, they need help and support, whether or not it's language training, whether or not how to fill out certain forms, whether some of the cultural norms, what are some of the things that they need to do in order to process the multitude of paperwork across a variety of things. The Gilchrist Center is designed to help that, and we have a large number of volunteers who are prepared to help our residents to get through many of the challenges that we see.
You always love ribbon cuttings, and we've had 2 of libraries in the last few weeks, White Oak and Bethesda.
No, White Oak and the Connie Morella Library.
Exactly, the Connie Morella Library in Bethesda.
That's right.
That is right,
That's right.
because it was the opening from the refresh, but also the renaming of the library.
That's right. That's correct. It was a wonderful opportunity for us to demonstrate the effectiveness of the refresh program we have in Montgomery County. The White Oak Library turned out to be a stunning success. We made a lot of headway in providing the community with what looks like almost a brand new library, but it's one that has been refreshed at a fraction of the cost of a totally renovated library. And then, of course, the Connie Morella Library. A beautiful day, large numbers of people turned out for a very, very special person who has served Montgomery County, the state, and the nation very well. And I was honored to name the library after Connie Morella.
Very well loved in the community. And just to wrap it up, Earth Month had just concluded. Lots and lots of volunteer opportunities in the county. Once again, through the Volunteer Center. Right. Did you do any volunteer
Just a little bit in my community of Burgessville. We did a little bit of cleanup, and I didn't get a chance to make all of the rounds that we normally make because of a very tight schedule. But it should not be just Earth Month, it should be Earth Day every day, because there's something that you can do to help protect our community, help protect our Earth, and so get out and to make a difference in the community. And I hope that you'll find that it's worthwhile, because it's a way to engage your neighbors and friends and to support a very, very worthy cause. Keep in mind, when we started the small bag tax years ago, I've noted, and you can see fewer bags out on the road, fewer in the trash, fewer on in the streams, and its reduction of cost that generally provided, well, the cost to the county is somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 to $4 million. We're able to reduce that significantly.
You know what, I run every morning at the Wheaton Gardens, and I used to see those plastic bags all the time on the streams.
Yeah.
It is true, I see less and less now. 15 years
Yeah.
monitoring that in that stream. Thank you, Mr. Leggett.
you.
Have a wonderful rest of the month. And for you watching at home, do remember, any information, do visit montgomerycountymd.gov. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going.
Recycle more now.